I was not always as you see me now. There was a time when my soul was burdened, overwhelmed by the weight of my own existence. It was as if life itself was a great, unyielding storm, and I, a mere traveler caught in its relentless tempest, stumbling blindly through the chaos. Each moment seemed heavier than the last, each breath harder to draw, and every task, no matter how small, loomed impossibly large before me. There was no respite, no sanctuary. I had become a prisoner within my own mind, lost amidst the cacophony of my thoughts, my emotions as wild and uncontrollable as the winds that battered me. I thought myself small, insignificant, a speck in the vastness of the universe, tossed about by forces beyond my control. Every action I took felt futile, every decision tinged with the bitter taste of fear and doubt. The world around me pressed in from all sides, suffocating, and I wondered if I would ever escape its grasp. In those days, I believed that life was something that happened to me, an unending series of events that I had to endure rather than shape. I sought answers, frantically, as a drowning man grasps at the surface, but none came. It felt as though I was screaming into the void, and the void, indifferent and silent, offered no reply. My life had become a series of distractions, a way to dull the pain of my existence, to escape the nagging sense that something vital, something crucial, was missing. I filled the empty spaces with noise, with tasks, with trivialities, but none of it satisfied the deep hunger that gnawed at my core. The moment of revelation came not in a blaze of glory, but in a quiet, almost imperceptible shift. I had reached the end of my endurance, a point where the weight of everything threatened to crush me completely. And in that moment, something within me gave way, not in despair, but in a kind of surrender. I stopped fighting, I stopped running. I allowed myself to be still, if only for a moment, and in that stillness, I heard it. A whisper, soft as a breeze, yet filled with a power I could scarcely comprehend. It was not a voice from outside, but from within. It was the voice of Source, the essence of the universe that had always been there, patiently waiting for me to listen. And in that moment, I understood something profound. I was not a victim of this life. I was the creator of it. The storm that had raged around me had not been imposed upon me by some malevolent force. It was my own creation, a reflection of the chaos within me. And if I had created it, then I had the power to unmake it. I realized then that I had always been connected to something greater, something vast and infinite. Before I came into this body, I had been part of that great ocean of consciousness, that limitless energy that we call Source. And though I had forgotten it, a part of that energy had come into this physical form with me. It had been there all along, guiding me, calling me toward expansion, toward growth, toward the fulfillment of every desire I had ever launched into the universe. But I, in my human stubbornness, had resisted. I had focused on the pain, on the lack, on the struggle, never realizing that in doing so, I was pushing against the very current that sought to carry me to everything I had ever wanted. I began to understand that my emotions were not my enemy, but my guide. The discomfort, the pain I had felt, was not a punishment, but a signal, a sign that I was out of alignment with the true, expanded version of myself. The larger part of me, the Source within me, had already become everything I had ever asked for. But I, in my fear and my doubt, had refused to follow. I had kept my gaze fixed on the problems, on the obstacles, on the reasons why I could not have what I wanted, rather than simply turning my attention toward the joy, the love, the abundance that was waiting for me. It was a simple choice, really, a choice between struggle and ease, between resistance and allowing. I could continue to fight against the current, to dwell in the misery of my perceived limitations, or I could surrender to the flow of who I truly was. I could trust in the power of the energy that creates worlds, the same energy that had created me, and allow it to carry me toward everything I had ever desired. And so I chose. I chose to let go of the struggle, to release my grip on the fear that had held me captive for so long. I chose to stop focusing on what was wrong, on what was missing, and instead, I turned my attention toward what felt good. I began to follow the path of least resistance, the path of joy, of love, of ease. And as I did, something miraculous happened. The storm began to dissipate. The clouds that had once seemed so dark, so impenetrable, began to part, and I could see the light once more. It was not that the world outside me had changed. It was I who had changed. The circumstances of my life, the challenges, the obstacles, they were still there, but they no longer held the same power over me. I no longer saw them as insurmountable because I knew that I was not alone in facing them. The source within me had already expanded into the solutions, and all I had to do was align myself with that expansion. I had only to reach for the thoughts, the feelings that brought me closer to the joy of who I truly was. It was in this state of alignment, this state of flow, that I began to experience what I can only describe as magic. Opportunities that I had longed for began to appear, seemingly out of nowhere. Relationships that had been strained began to heal, effortlessly. The things I had once struggled so hard to achieve came to me with ease, as if the universe itself had conspired in my favor. But it was not magic, not really. It was simply the natural result of aligning with the truth of who I am, a creator, a being of pure, limitless energy, connected to everything and everyone. I had not changed the world, I had changed myself, and in doing so, the world around me shifted to reflect that change. Now, as I walk through life, I no longer feel the weight of it pressing down upon me. I no longer see problems as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth, for expansion. I no longer fear the unknown, for I know that I am never truly alone. I am always connected to the source within me, always guided by the wisdom of that infinite, loving energy. I have come to realize that life is not something to be endured, but something to be savored. It is a playground of possibilities, a canvas upon which I can paint whatever reality I choose. And the key to it all, the secret that had eluded me for so long, is simply this. When you allow yourself to feel good, when you follow the path of joy, you align with the fullness of who you truly are. And in that alignment, everything you have ever wanted is not only possible, it is inevitable. I am not the same person I was when I began this journey. I am something far greater. I am a creator, a being of infinite potential, and I now understand that the only limits I face are the ones I choose to impose upon myself. And so I choose to live in joy, in love, in alignment with the source within me. For that is who I truly am, and that is the life I was always meant to live. To anyone feeling lost, overwhelmed, or uncertain, I offer this. You are not small, nor are you powerless. You are a divine creator, connected to the infinite energy that shapes all things. The challenges you face are not punishments or tests. They are invitations to expand, to evolve, to step into the full magnificence of who you truly are. Trust that every desire you have sent out into the universe is already being fulfilled, even if you cannot see it. Align yourself with joy, with love, and with the knowing that you are always supported. When you do, the path will unfold before you, clearer and more beautiful than you ever imagined. The power that creates worlds flows through you, and when you embrace it, there is nothing you cannot become, do, or have.